Good day. I'm Ross Dentten. I'm the Crossrail Asset Information and Configuration Manager, and I'm here today to tell you about the keynote speech I'm conducting at the Solutions 2.0 conference on the 30th of July 2014. Quick start by telling you a little bit about myself. I work for Crossrail, which I'll come to tell you a bit more about that soon. I've got 25 years transport experience in the UK, predominantly in the rail industry, and I'm currently working on a number of initiatives in the industry as well. I currently chair the Industry Partner Asset Information Forum, which is a forum for bringing together like-minded individuals and working through issues and coming up with better solutions. I'm also involved with pushing out some of the good work that Crossrail is doing into the industry, and that includes the Asset Data Dictionary for UK, which is breeding in best practice for asset classification. I'm also involved with a number of universities, one in particular, University of Reading, and I've got someone assigned to me on an engineering doctorate for 4 years. Last year, I was involved in winning the British Construction Industry Awards for BIM project application category, and that was a major achievement for not only myself but for my team. My broad interests are family time, trying to get better at golf, playing chess at a local chess club, also badminton and swimming when I have time, and also giving back to the industry. So without further ado, I should move on to the content. So the agenda for this today is an overview of Crossrail and the progress to date, the asset information fundamentals, and this includes general good practice asset management and why it's important, quality asset information enablers, what we've done at Crossrail to date in order to make sure that we are building good foundations for quality asset information, how we represent the asset generally at Crossrail, a bit about BIM, which is Building Information Modelling, or should I say whole life, asset life information management, and then moving on to, once we've got the quality asset information, collecting and utilising asset information. This involves quality asset information provision itself, collecting the information, and then once we've collected it, how we utilise that to build what we call the Crossrail Smart Railway. We also utilise a good quality asset information for smart initiatives, and also then sharing good practice back to the industry, as I described earlier. And we'll also talk about the benefits. Finally, hopefully you're going to make it to see the keynote speech at the Solutions 2. And if you can make it, that would be great, because you'll also see a 5-minute video of where Crossrail is also. We're actually halfway through. So what is Crossrail? A quick overview of Crossrail. It's a large 15 billion or $24 billion rail project for London. When it's finished, it'll increase the current infrastructure of London by 10%. It's currently the largest construction project in Europe. It involved 14,000 people at the height of construction, and in terms of my challenge, it involves 1 million physical assets and approximately 10 million bits of data that I need to collect. And when Crossrail comes into fruition, it will be 200 million passengers a year when it's opened. In terms of contractual complexity, this is a geographical representation of Crossrail. It involves 50 projects under a program of projects, 200 contractors, and 100 contracts. There's also virtual and physical complexity, so we need to use clever 3D modelling as well as collecting asset data as well. We have to deal with existing infrastructure and also the Crossrail infrastructure, which is shown in greeny blue here. So we need complex information technology. In terms of the progress so far, I explained earlier, we're approximately about 50% of the way there. So we've already done 35 kilometres of tunnel, and these systems contracts are now getting underway, so we can fill essentially the boxes of the stations and the tunnels and the portals and the shafts with equipment. This is where the data challenge really comes into its own. So a lot of the period of time has been spent so far in enabling good quality procedures, standards and ways of working in order to ramp up ready for the big data challenge. To ensure that we are going forward in a most practical way, we make reference to latest standards. This includes ISO 55000, and the key points to pick up here are coordinated activity and realising value for the assets. As well as ISO 55000, we also use BS 1192 Part 2, 3 and subsequently 4 when that comes out. We're also involved in Part 4 steering group. In terms of the asset management landscape, this is a model taken from the Institute of Asset Management. Crossrail is currently at the acquiring stage here, and we have a real responsibility to make sure we acquire good quality asset information to support the remaining operate, maintain and dispose phases. The way we do this is we focus heavily on asset knowledge and the collection of good quality asset information attributes and making sure we structure our data model correctly. Technology changes very quickly, but your data needs to be structured in a very sensible way so it can stand the test of time. In terms of asset information timeline, typically asset information is collected far too late in the project. It's thrown over the fence to the operator. It's very late, the quality is very poor and it's very inefficient. So the Crossrail strategy is to start very much earlier to make sure we've got our enabling done early, to make sure we collect the asset information steady as we go, and make sure we have everyone in the contractors, all the contractors working on one road and not a number of roads. Otherwise we will be inefficient. So we want to be on time, we want to have good quality data, and we want to be efficient. So in reality the model actually looks like this, because the whole life, the project, although Crossrail is 10 years long, is only 10 to 20% of its life. The other 80 to 90% is when we've passed it over. So that's why the asset information has to be such good quality. In terms of enablers, I won't go into detail now, but we've put in a number of enablers which I'll explain more during the conference. In terms of asset representation, the same applies, but broadly we have the concept of an asset tag, which is a functional requirement, and that functional requirement is fulfilled by, for example, a piece of equipment. Here I'm showing the virtual representation which resides in their asset information management system, and then the physical representation, which is basically the labels which have barcodes on them that actually reside on the physical items. Every asset tag or functional requirement has three properties collected on them. So location, where is the asset; classification, what type of asset is it; function, what is it asset designed to perform. So it means that each of these properties as a minimum is collected against every asset. In terms of the wider challenge, we're basically building two Crossrails. So we're building the virtual Crossrail and the physical Crossrail. So this digital or virtual railway, you could say, is made up of not only the asset area but documentation. So what we're looking to do is we're linking documentation to assets, assets to models. Models spatially are shown in our GIS system, and then we also put in visualizations, which helps not only us from a technical point of view but also the general public to understand our railway better. So linking the information is key. We've also got smart initiatives in terms of provisioning the data. So we've invested time in creating an asset data dictionary, which, as I say, has been rolled out to the industry as well. We've also created a number of suite of documents to support each of our asset classes. These asset classes in turn mean we can create the attributes that are populated into our intelligence spreadsheets that go to the contractors. The contractors then fill only what we need and nothing more, nothing less. And there's then a cyclic approach which runs through our change control system and then pushes out information, and we do data validation on the information that the contractors are supplying us. This ensures that we will receive quality asset information. We're also linking models to assets. So our asset tag that I mentioned earlier, we are applying them into the model using a piece of technology called an asset painter. This allows us to take asset tags from our asset information management system, put them into our asset painter, and then associate an asset tag with a number of discrete design elements. For example, 3 design elements which might make up a wall for fabrication can be linked together to mean one wall for whole life. We're also doing use cases to prove this. So this is a typical cross-section for a tunnel, and we're able to apply many thousands of asset tags against every ring of a tunnel in quick succession. So once we've got all this quality asset information, we can also utilise it. So we're doing we have a number of smart initiatives, which again I'll go into more detail in the conference. But we're, for example, using iPads and other technology, and we have a thing called a Field Supervisor app, which allows us to do various reporting and allows us to utilise the asset information that we're collecting. In terms of the quality asset information then supporting what we call the smart railway, it's very important for the people we're handing over to that they have lots of predictability. So they want the world to be safe for everyone. They want it to be reliable for their customers. They want staff to be proud and motivated. They want ultimately an efficient business behind the scenes, and they want predictable operations and maintenance to make sure that the customers aren't affected. If we can get all of this, then they'll have a dependable railway which delivers a world-class journey experience. So in terms of the smart integration of the railway, we need to make sure that we focus on London rail processes and making sure that not only Crossrail but also other rail industry partners work together to make sure the processes all sing from the same song sheet. We also need to make sure that data and systems is also integrated, so everybody is working smart and together. And we're promoting this as we go along during the Crossrail project, and we're seeing real traction in this area now. In terms of our dream, it's a dream to actually have a central data hub, a common data environment that everyone can pull information from, whether it's to support the assets, to support the people, but ultimately to support the services that we give to the customers. And this is just a taste of what the smart railway looks like. So if you have that core central data hub, you can then utilise it for a number of areas of the business. This isn't an exhaustive list, but it gives you some idea of what our aspirations are. We're also supporting this with, we have a technical partnership with one of our suppliers, which you might say, well, that's unusual, but actually we see this as key as well. So we have a neutral environment at our supplier's headquarters, and this is a key initiative by our CEO at Crossrail and the CEO at Bentley. And it's as I say, a neutral zone, an information academy, where we can bring people and teach them about things of awareness about information and management and how we can all get together. It's also a place where we can teach people, particularly the contractors, our processes, so everybody is singing from the same song sheet again. We're also mentioning, I mentioned earlier rather, that we're helping to shape industry and giving back to the industry. So we're involved with a number of government initiatives to drive out efficiency and make sure that we can give back to the industry. Because Crossrail is such a large project, we do see it as we have a great responsibility to give to the industry as well as be innovative ourselves. And ultimately, again, I'll go into some more cost-saving benefits during the conference, but the huge benefits of getting and enabling quality asset information to support the Crossrail Smart Railway is that you'll see years of whole life saving. We believe, based on studies that we've seen and the way that we're going to be implementing Crossrail with our strategy of information management, that we recognise 1 to 2 years of whole life operational expenditure, which is really significant when you consider that Crossrail is likely to be £1 billion per annum for its OPEX costs. Anyway, thanks very much for listening. Hopefully that wasn't too speedy for you, but I'd really encourage you to come along to the Solutions Conference. And if you'd like to find any more details out, do visit www.solutionsconference.info, and I look forward to seeing you on July the 30th. Thanks very much.